Welcome back to Super Bowl week. Today I'm talking about discipline. So, this one is probably pretty obvious. It takes discipline and dedication to get to an elite level of anything, to get to the Super Bowl, to be a GOAT, a greatest player of all time, or the greatest of all time, whoever you are, in whatever your craft is, whatever your field is, whatever you're doing with your life's energy. As you've heard me talk about, I've heard some interviews and watched documentaries on some of these elite athletes. And something I've noticed about the ones, again, there's a distinction between the elite athletes who make it to this level, but the ones who even stick out beyond that. They are the first ones to show up to practice. They show up early. I've heard Tom Brady goes and is watching film at like 5:30 in the morning before anybody else shows up. And I've heard Kobe Bryant talk about he would shoot, I think sometimes, I don't remember how often this was or whatever. I can't remember all the details, but he would shoot he would say, okay, I'm going to make 1,000 baskets before I leave practice. And he would just sit there and shoot until he made 1,000 shots. He would do things like that. He was the first one at practice. He was the last one to leave. I mean, these guys are disciplined at another level. Some of these guys are just they have natural raw talent. And that's almost enough for some of these guys to get them to that level. I mean, they're just so insanely talented, right? But then they go and they screw off. They're not that disciplined, and so they aren't able to actually get to the next level, or they do something and it messes up their career or whatever. But the ones who are playing at the absolute highest level are disciplined. I mean, they show up, and discipline applies on the spiritual path. It's not this woo woo, oh my gosh, I'm like free floating out into space. I'm a hippie. I spend my life living out in the woods, whatever it is. It's not that. I have all these crystals, and nothing against people who are living that life, by the way. I'm not saying, but what I'm talking about, though, is if, in your spiritual life, if you really truly want to open to the greatest depths of who you truly are and live, part of this, it actually is living your life at the highest level, believe it or not. The most enlightened people in the world are, they're living life at a totally different level, regardless of what their life might look like on the outside. They are living life. They have access to states of consciousness that are crazy, right? That are, beyond what most of us have access to in our everyday lives. But the way you get there is, part of it is karma, part of it's destiny. You can't force yourself to become enlightened. You can't force transformation, but you can be disciplined and say, wow, I'm going to give myself to this. And whatever that might be, if it's meditation, like meditation has been a tool that has personally allowed me to open to these phenomenal spiritual awakening experiences and live more and more of my life in a consistent state of this awakening, deeply rooted in infinite depths of awakened consciousness, right? But it's like, oh, I've been disciplined. Guess what? I'm going to sit in meditation every single day. This is not a, hobby. Spirituality has become like this new fad and hobby for a lot of people, where I'm just going to like dabble in this on the side. And that's fine if you're doing that in your life. I'm happy for you. That's amazing. But in this video, I'm talking about being disciplined, and it doesn't even have to apply to spirituality, whatever it is in your life. Like what do you know, what do you love? What do you love to do? What do you want to create in your life? Anybody who has ever created anything amazing, I promise you they have exercised and implemented discipline in their life. So that's the topic for today, discipline. And thank you for being on this journey with me. I am sending you so much love, bliss, and peace.